Hey guys, summer is just around the corner. What we've got here is our top 5 picks of what we think are the best supercars for the summer. So let's go through and peruse which ones we think will rip up this year's summer for you guys. Hey guys, welcome to Fraz Auto Sales. My name's Peter, and let's check out this wicked 2021 Lamborghini STO Huracan. Now let's take a look at the front end here. Now this thing is nowhere near like a regular base Huracan, which we actually happen to have sitting right next to this one. You can notice on the front hood, you got a full carbon air vents on both sides with the iconic STO badging right here. You take your eyes over to the pinstriping and it brings you all the way down. You wanna have a look at the front splitter, full carbon fiber as well. Like this is all active aero, so really helps with this car's race abilities as it's a designed race car for the track. Now, if you're looking at these two side by side, the only similarities they have is basically the badge and the headlights. Now, side by side, check out both the wheels. We got the factory Huracan wheel here, 19-inch, very nice wheel, but the STO Huracan comes with these really wicked forged wheels with the yellow brake calipers, fully carbon composite brakes. One of my favorite things about this is this hood opens up through these carbon vents on the side, which are crazy. Look how crazy this is right here. Hood opening forward, full carbon fiber. Check out the inside of this thing. Not much of a frunk on the STO. He's like, if you want to bring a backpack, I'd forget that. This is a race car. You can't even hold a pencil case in this thing, man. You might want to hold a pack of gum or maybe an extra pair of underwear or something like that if you're going for a rip. But as you can see here, big difference, big difference. Check out the inside of this hood, full carbon fiber build, super lightweight. And you got on the front, like we showed earlier, these front air hoods directing air into here and cooling everything. This keeps all your Lamborghini kit from factory that helps you with your tools, whatnot, and your charger. It's very cool. All right, let's take a look at this crazy rear hood scoop, man. This thing is nuts. This directs all the air as you're ripping down the track or the street through this vent right here, right into the back to help with cooling. Carbon fiber, of course, and it just looks insane. Like this car is like no other you've seen. Now, before we check out the rear, let's have a look on the interior. All right, let's check out this interior. Now you'll notice it's not exactly the most comfortable thing to get into, but that's exactly why these are carbon designed race seats. These are no joke. These are for being planted in the vehicle, feeling structured like you're not gonna fly out when you're taking corners really fast. And let's just have a look at the craftsmanship in this thing. Like, it is insane. We have Alcantara steering wheel. We got full Alcantara dash. Everything is here for a reason, for a purpose. You can look at the custom stitching, all in the nice, beautiful yellow that we have. The STO embroidery on the inside here is just crazy. Now, to close the doors, not your conventional door handle. We're looking at a simple strap. That's probably just for weight reasons, obviously. And then you got your infotainment and all your nav screens all right here at an easy touch. Very different than normal. See, you can just see as the sensors come through, it starts to illuminate, which is really cool. Now we got our window buttons, our traction controls here, and this car is equipped with the front lifting system. So in case you're, going over some uneven terrain or getting out of a tough spot, very cool. Like right down to the stitching, right down to everything. It's just incredible. All right, now let's see how this thing sounds. Let's start it up. Now you might notice I kind of got to yell here because it's a little more bassy and a little more loud than a normal Huracan. This is just not even in the race mode here. You turn that on and you'll start to hear the valves open up, and that's when it really lets loose. There you go, you get the idea. We could even give it a little blip here and see what we got. All right, guys, let's check out probably the coolest part about this vehicle, which is the rear end. It is just insane. We got full active aero carbon fiber wing on the rear, which is fully tuned for race purposes. Direct your attention here to we got a similar to a regular Huracan style exhaust. This is full titanium race exhaust, which is just wild. The engine bay is something totally different that we're gonna check out. It'll shock you how this thing opens up. Let's check out even right down to the bottom of the splitters here. Full carbon fiber. We're talking, this thing is substantially lighter than a regular Huracan, which gives it its advantages when it's on the track. Now, we can't just pop this hood like a regular hood. we have these specially designed keys from Lamborghini to open this thing up. This is just wild. So each side, you'll notice, has this little button. You insert this key here and turn it to unlock, and then you're of course gonna need probably 2 people. Andrew, why don't you come help me out on this? All right, let's take this thing off. There we go, nice and easy. Not exactly your routine oil change on this thing, so you will need some people to help you out when this kind of thing happens. But again, we're buying this thing to become a performance machine and enjoy this and collect it the way it should be. Look at the beautiful gold valve covers here, just crazy. Not your stereotypical Lambo. Now, this is not your regular Huracan. This is a track Huracan, the true 3RS style of Huracan, which is just insane. Even from down to removing the hood, you need 2 people to do it, or probably best to just take it to the manufacturer to take care of that. But either way, you have strut bars. This is a race machine designed for one purpose, to go very, very fast. This thing's powered by the 5.2 liter V10 iconic Lamborghini engine, 631 horsepower. It is a monster. Now, this STO is only available at Faraz Auto Sales, so click the link in the description below, and don't forget to check us out and subscribe. Hey guys, Peter here, back at Faraz Auto Sales, taking a look at this 2022 flagship creation by Ferrari. Now, this is a wild unit. You guys gotta come dive into this thing. The first Ferrari hybrid V8 twin turbo. This thing will blow your doors off, man. Let's check this out. All right, guys, let's start off with an entire carbon kit. Front end splitter, all carbon fiber where they integrated the front end camera, which is really, really cool. Then we come over here. These LED lights are just magnificent. The whole car is finished in a launch color, Giallo Monte Carlo. So it's not a very common color to see. The whole bottom end here, check that out. All front active aero carbon fiber as well. Probably my favorite feature, one of the coolest and most race spec features you could possibly get, is these full carbon fiber wheels. That's right, these things are 40% lighter than the regular Ferrari wheels. This build spares almost no expense when it came to building this car. Paired with the carbon ceramic brakes, you can see in there in the very, very classic style Ferrari calipers, and they're just finished in gloss black. Goes so well with all the black accents on this vehicle. Now, it looks like a coupe, this car, but it actually is the SF90 Spider. The hardtop roof here is convertible. This car, like I said, has the full exterior carbon kit from Ferrari. So this includes the bottom full, I guess these would be the side splitters, really, really cool. Lightweight everywhere. Then it brings you right back into these rear intake vents, which are also carbon, that split that air and help cool that motor. Underneath the hood here, I know it'll look a little strange because this is a mid-engine hybrid, but so we got 2 different power plants here. So let's have a look. So before we touch on the actual electric components, look at that full carbon fiber exposed hood. Very, very, very cool, lightweight. Now, this car, if you notice, comes with your baggage, your car cover, and as well, your plaque that shows you exactly how the car was built. Very neat. If you're ever interested in looking at newer Ferraris, you can see the full build spec sheet from factory. Now, the electric motor, this thing gives the car an extra 26 kilometers of driving fully on electric motor only. It adds also around 220 horsepower, which doesn't sound like much, but when you combine that with the close to 800 horsepower gas motor, you get 1,000 horsepower and you get crazy amounts of torque too. All right, now like we said, mid-engine hybrid. It really is mid-engine as it's tucked way into that cave, but you have full plug-in accessibility right here, which you just flap that open on the door inside. So that's for your electric plug-in, and then there's for your fuel. Pretty simple. 2 little plug-in areas and you're good to go. Now let's take a look at the cavern-esque valley of where this engine lays. I guess if you had your 3-year-old around here, he could go and double check your valve covers for you if not, but you can definitely change your O2 sensors, but I don't think I'd recommend that. You might want to leave that one up to the experts at Ferrari. So we first thought that this would be one of the first forced induction Ferraris, but we were mistaken. They did come out in the early 80s, or I think mid 80s, with some of the Ferraris kind of experimenting with forced induction. But this is a fully engineered, time-tested forced induction vehicle. Now this thing is a 4-liter V8 twin turbocharged. It's, again, like we said, mid-hybrid. This thing boasts 1,000 horsepower with the Spider, 200 and change from the electric motor and 800 and change from the gas motor. Let's take a look at the rear end of this thing. So you kind of get reminiscence of the classic, I guess, 430 or the 360 light. I guess this is Ferrari's take on the new revolutionized new era type light, which is this kind of rectangular shape. Still very beautiful, very streamlined. And then it takes you back to the full rear end of this full carbon fiber rear splitter. And then you got the stealth exhaust pipes here, which are just a really fun finishing touch on this thing. All right, let's hop inside this thing and see how it feels. Unlike many other Ferraris of this spec race car, very comfortable to get in. And these seats are the special design seats from Ferrari and finished in Nero with the matching giallo of the exterior color stitching. Just a really, really nice combination. This thing feels super comfortable. Like you could go for your Sunday afternoon drives, you could drive to the cottage and back, you could go hit the racetrack after, and I don't think you'd have a sore back when you finish, which is really nice. Now, once we get in this thing, we notice that carbon fiber interior trim package is just really, really nice finish on this. Look at this screen. The screen is just so interactive. It's got so much information on here. So like at the touch of a thumb, you can go all through the menu. You can look at your vehicle, you can look through your audio sections, you can look into pretty much anywhere you want to go. You got your climate and seat control. Like this is just amazing. The pedals are brushed aluminum as well as the passenger kick plate. So this thing really has a bit of race car feel, but it also has a real pile of practicality to it, which is fantastic. All of your inner controls for, I guess, activating your drive modes are down here. Your window buttons are really accessible. This is one of my favorite parts, which would be, I don't know if you can see on the toggle switch there, but you can navigate through your different climates that you're driving through, wet, sport, race, all kinds of different modes. All right, let's start this up and see how it sounds. All right, last thing I want to touch on this Ferrari here is that this has got to be one of the most classiest yet sophisticated keys I think I've ever seen. It's beautiful. So anyway, if you want to check this car out, don't forget to come out and see us at Ferraz Auto Sales, and don't forget to like and subscribe. All right, guys, I don't know if you remember last time we talked about the Ferrari 488, which was the evolution of the 458, and now what comes after 488 is Ferrari F8. This is 2022 Ferrari F8 Spider. Beautiful car. We're gonna go through this thing and take a look. I'm Peter. This is Ferraz Auto Sales. Let's check this thing out. Now, this F8 is, I guess you would be comparison to your lineup in the McLaren Artura level, the Lamborghini Huracan level. So kind of like your entry-level Ferrari, which is hard to say, doesn't really make any sense. Entry-level supercar doesn't really add up. But this is still, I guess, what you would consider is the lineup that you're gonna start at with Ferrari, even though this thing is far from ordinary or far from a regular supercar. We're gonna dive into this thing a little bit more. First, you're gonna notice this color. I mean, you're probably not gonna see this in many other spots. This is what Ferrari would call a paint to sample or paint to match, which is kind of like a custom color that's ordered from somebody that they had some color in mind. Maybe they saw something that they wanted, oh, I want my car done like that. That's what these guys can do. They can make that happen. It's actually called Azzurro California, which is a really, really neat name. That accompanied by wheels, by the interior package, all done by whatever that customer wanted at the time. We're gonna take a little bit deeper look at that in a second. Now, the front end keeps that kind of 458 look to it, which is that beautiful light that kind of streamlines up the front of the car. You have all this gorgeous venting here for a cooling system that goes through, active aero as usual. And I got the hood popped on this thing because you can see one difference between the other hoods on the older models is they didn't have this huge vent here, which is really neat. So it stays true, and you can see it as you open that hood, the vent right through. Really, really cool. And again, like we went over on some of the last videos that we saw, that the Ferrari has the plaque here. It built all the options right into the car, so you can tell you exactly what you're looking, how this person built it when they bought it. But still, it's just really cool how they did this. You got your Ferrari bag, your little Ferrari toolkit. I believe this is the Ferrari, like it's got even a tire kit or an on-the-road first aid kit on it, which is really neat. And then your color names are printed on the plaques on the inside there. Really, really cool. Let's move around the side a little bit and take a look. this is one of my personal favorite parts of this vehicle is the wheel selection that came with this thing. They're kind of like a throwback, almost like your old man style wheel. I don't want to say that, but anyway, it's just something about the silver wheels, the classic look. They're not massive, they're tasteful. They still have that beautiful Brembo brake caliper with the carbon ceramic brakes. Like, something about them just really shows like classic Ferrari styling. So I mean, it's up to what you like. Maybe tell me in the comments if you think this thing is, it does it for you, or you should change the color scheme on this thing. But to me, this just looks really, really sharp. Now, one of the classic little elements about this thing is it's like kind of ties into the wheels, kind of ties into else, is the door handles. They always seem to keep this kind of small little simple effect, right? Like the little triangular handle, similar to a Ferrari 360's handle, was very small, or similar to a 430's handle is quite small. To tie in with all this kind of classic stuff, they also throw in a bit of this current flair. I guess this guy just wanted a little bit of added flair, added style with this carbon fiber splitter for the rear air vents here. Then also, he seemed to put in a little bit of this carbon fiber into the rear engine cover as well, which is really, really sharp. Not overwhelming, but it's also still really, really sharp, really classy looking, and it doesn't kind of distract you too much. It really builds into the way the trunk looks, which is gorgeous. And the beautiful Ferrari, this logo, this has been kept the same for years and years and years, and I'm glad they don't migrate away from that even on some of the newer models, this being a 2022. Just fantastic. And then we'll work into the back end of the car here in a second and appreciate what they did with this part of the car. So it's got this like kind of built-in rear spoiler, which is really streamlined with the car. It's just really, really sharp. Then you have, it even peaks some carbon through the bottom here. It's gonna be really hard for you to see, and then I love, they went almost back to the old school look of these rear circular lights. I know we reviewed the SF90 not too long ago, and that kind of went to that new, almost like a rectangular shape light. This, I don't know, this just spells Ferrari to me. Simplicity, really, really, really good looking car. Your titanium exhausts, I'm glad they went with that finish opposed to the black like some of the others do, because this also adds into those silver wheels that we were looking at earlier. All right, well, since this thing being another mid-engine supercar, I guess this would be the hood or the rear, and we'll take a look at the engine. You can see it's really tucked in there, similar to when we looked at the SF90. Again, not much workability if you're a mechanic or a handyman, but one of the things that we're looking at here, which is just really, I guess, this just shows you how much Ferrari thinks about something, is when even you take a look at this oil cap here, the Ferrari logo is printed on it. And unless you had a way to keep this Ferrari logo centered every time, if you're a true car guy like we are, it would drive you insane. And of course, in true Ferrari fashion, this oil cap will line up centered every single time with your F8 Spider badge, which is printed right on top of the back of the engine here, which is just a lovely touch from Ferrari. All right, let's hop into this thing and take a look at the interior. Got this gorgeous Rosso Ferrari interior, which is the colors, the red just pops, and the yellow stitching, which is really neat. One thing that I also noticed about this car, which is cool, is that it kind of does go to like the Sunday driving type feel, like, because these are not your carbon race seats. These are not your super rigid, break your back, get in and out seats. These are like the comfortable drivable seats. But then again, when you sit in here, then you get the flair of all this, the carbon fiber driving zone, the carbon fiber shift lights and the RPM gauges and the steering wheel, carbon paddle shifters. Like, you got total race spec feel also combined with the rest of the kind of elegant feel to this car. Also, which is really cool, start this up in a second, as you can see, this is ordered with passenger display, which is really neat too. So this little screen will illuminate here, show you your RPM gauges, everything else while you're driving. Kind of neat. So we can start this thing up and see how it goes. Give her a few revs and see what it sounds like. Very quick throttle response to this car. Anyway, so once you see when we fire this thing up, you get all your bells and whistles turned on. You have your, similar to the other Ferraris, your suspension adjustment mode, your start button right here. Of course, your different modes for driving, wet, race, all that kinds of stuff, depending on what you're doing. One thing that's kind of neat is that, neat and also annoying at the same time, is you don't really have a screen anywhere, but I guess that's the essence of Ferraris. This is meant to be, again, a sports car. So your entire menu resides within this little tiny area here, which is going to be tough to see. You might probably see it from the GoPro, but everything is controlled by a menu button here, and it is actually pretty easy to work through. You got your radio, media, navigation, everything else. Yeah, so When you look at here again, you have your suspension lifter here right there, which is really neat, really accessible. So you're driving down the street and you need to go into a really steep driveway, you're seeing some speed bumps come up you're unsure of. Easy to get to, you know, on some of the McLarens and the Lambos. It's not always the easiest. You have to navigate through a menu, or even the older Ferraris have to navigate through a menu to get the lifters working. Everything's at your fingertips. You know, your reverse is down here, your auto drive, you don't feel like you wanna, you know, engage manual shifting, which you can do with these carbon paddle shifters. Yeah, just actually a really nice feeling Ferrari, really comfortable. Taking a look at this, is that passenger display, really cool. I mean, it's more of like a novelty type thing, I guess. If someone here wants to feel, you know, what it's like to be in the driver's seat, yeah, you got your little, your display screen here. Again, really, really cool. Neat little thing that they've introduced into Ferrari over the last little while now, and it just really gives it a different feel. All right, guys, well, you notice our mascot here. This is Sky. She's just our sweetheart. Just, if you want to come and you're a dog lover, you gotta come see this girl. She's probably the most sweetest dog ever. Anyway, just like her, very powerful. This car also, yes, we talked about the Sunday driving abilities, the kind of like relaxed feel, yet this thing's still got a 3.9 liter twin turbo V8, boasting a ridiculous 710 horsepower. So this is not shy of being a beast in the street. Hey guys, Peter here at Fraz Auto Sales. We're taking a look at McLaren 720S, full carbon spec. Let's dive into this thing. This is basically your, you know, you got your 570, your 540Cs, then you got your really high ends. This kind of smack dabs in the middle of the McLaren supercar lineup, but it is nothing shy of incredible. We're gonna dive into this thing today and see what it's all about. Set apart from a regular 720S, this has carbon exterior pack 1, 2, and 3. This is as much carbon as you can jam onto this car. As you can see in this full front light area, it's all about lightweight on this one right here. So you're taking a regular 720 and making it even lighter and even more race spec, which is really cool. Full carbon front end here, full carbon hood, which is a crazy addition. Like, this hood to open up weighs next to nothing. And as you can see inside, they've packed the fire extinguisher in there, your McLaren cover, all your other fancy gizmos, and then you have full carbon fiber exposed on the interior of this hood. So this just really ties in to the full vehicle and what it was designed to do, which is go around the track very fast. Now, along with this really wild color, which is elite color from McLaren, which is glacier white, which they call it a white, kind of looks like a silver. It's kind of like a carbon black for BMW, or kind of like a basalt or jet black metallic for Porsche. They all have these different undertones of color, but we're taking the focus here over to these wheels. Also super lightweight forged wheels. Carbon ceramic brakes with the beautiful red brake calipers. Just really cool the way this car looks. Great pairing, because as you move into the interior, it matches that gorgeous red of the interior to match your calipers out here. Now, everything is race spec, like I said. So even after the headlight comes here, you got the side splitter piece from the front fenders, also carbon fiber to direct air in there, because you have some radiator stuff moving on in there, some cooling functions there, and that directs the air right through here to another vent, which is really cool to help direct airflow through this car, keep it fast, keep it cool. Let's move on down the side. So you got the carbon fiber side mirrors as well, like we mentioned before. And then right through the roof, it's gonna be hard to see from there, but this whole roof structure here, which the door opens up and connects to, which we'll see in a second, that supporting unit is carbon fiber and meshes right back into the rear carbon fiber engine cover, which you can see the beautiful 4-liter twin turbo V8 stamped right there on the vehicle. This active aero rear wing moves up and down depending on what mode set or drive setting you're putting it in. Look at all the venting that comes through here. I mean, this engineering is gorgeous. Now this car, it's a spectacle from the rear. It's almost more amazing to look at than it is from the front end. Like, it's just so much going on here. The way this thing moves up and down, as soon as that wing goes up, you kind of, it shows you, it gives you a peek of carbon fiber that screams through the bottom of the way the back comes. The stealth black exhaust tips here, just a lovely finishing touch that you can get that in silver, you can get it in other colors, but this looks beautiful. All right, and of course, one of the most dazzling features of this vehicle, and some of the other McLarens too, but this one has an extra bit of wow factor to it, with these crazy doors that open up, and this still Gorilla Glass in here, reinforced glass. It's really, really strong. So when you're sitting in the car, you don't worry about anything breaking or falling on that, but let's get inside and take a look. beautiful. This car's interior is just crazy. Like, we were just sitting and reviewing the Artura, taking a look at the 570s. These seats are a whole different ball game. Like, you don't think you could move more than an inch side to side when you're sitting in this thing. It's just amazing. So let's close these doors. Look at this, the electronic bezel moving back and forth from the interior here. This goes up and down as you choose your different modes. So if you want to open this up and have it like that way, you get a lot more information on it. But if you're looking for something it's like you're going to the track, or you're going driving specifically, you can fold this whole section down and be left with just a tachometer, and that's it. So if you, that lets you just focus on racing, not get distracted by anything else that's going on. Cool, let's start this thing up and take a look and see what it sounds like. Give her a few revs and see. Cool, another thing that I really love to touch on about the McLaren cockpit of the 720S is it truly is like a cockpit. There is a seat here, but there's almost not even a need for one. Unless of course you're just wowing the person you're driving with or whatever have you. But this is like geared, everything's geared to the person that's sitting in the seat, which is really neat. Again, carbon paddle shifters, different than some of the other supercars that we reviewed, that the shifters are actually connected to the driving section. These shifters move with you, which is depending on what you like, you know, whether it's easier to access your shifts through that way if you're racing or whatnot. But again, they throw in some features that aren't just race spec, like Bowers & Wilkins upgraded sound system, which is wonderful. The navigation system is just right at your fingers, easy to flow through. And then you have, of course, your aero settings, your launch controls, your active modes that allow your wing to move up and down. It's just incredible. And sitting inside with the window and the roof, it's really something else. If you haven't been in one of these cars, you got to come stop by and see them, because they really are amazing. All right, guys, just so happens that while we're here, we got all three of the previous cars that we've taken a look at. So let's look at this powertrain. You choose what you like. You can let me know in the comments. We got the Artura. So we got V6 hybrid, 690 horsepower. So 500 and change from the gas motor, the rest residing from the electric motor. Powerhouse, 570S. We got also in the V8, similar to the 720, V8 3.8 liter, 560 horsepower and change, also a beast. And then of course, 720S, 4 liter, V8 twin turbo, 710 horsepower. Which one you choose is up to you. Come on by and see us. They're all for sale. They're all ready for the street, for the summer. Fraz Auto Sales, comment, subscribe. Don't forget to check us out. Thanks, guys. All right, guys, today we're taking a look at a British version of the most Canadian British vehicle you can get. This is the McLaren 570S Spider, one of 5 Canadian commissioned builds. So this is specifically a Canadian super limited release vehicle. All the touches on it are totally different than a 570 you might have seen before. They look like a Spider, but once you get up close and pay attention to what's going on, we'll see all the differences that come to life on this car. Now, you might notice all this beautiful red accented, I guess, additions to the vehicle. This isn't just red paint or red wrap. This is red carbon fiber done by McLaren for the specific edition vehicle. Beautiful pinstripe painted right into the carbon fiber, which is really, really, really special. This is a special silica white, also a MSO color, which is done specifically for custom orders McLaren. And we're gonna dive a little bit deeper in as we work our way around this car. Take a look. This build does have the 10-spoke lightweight forged wheel with the carbon ceramic brakes, which are beautiful. But what we're really focusing today on is all of these beautiful little details that have been built in here. Look at this Canadian flag that's painted, the little maple leaf painted right into the carbon fiber side skirt. You're gonna see this theme carry on as we move all the way down the car. Red carbon fiber mirrors, and it just keeps going back from here. Now let's open up one of the butterfly doors to give you a better scope on how much red carbon has been built into this car. Look at this. It's just dazzling how cool that is, eh? It just matches the bottom side skirt, the mirror, the side insert of that door. Lightweight edition, so still a beautiful race spec. When it comes to that, it's not just a visual package, but man, is this ever neat. Come on and move your way back through this end.
As we get a little peek through the spider roof here, the convertible roof, you can even see all this beautiful red Alcantara that we'll take a look at later on when we move to the center of the car. We work our way back here, and of course you got the bigger stance of that rear tire versus the front tire, which is neat. And you follow your way all the way around to the entire engine cover, tonneau cover is red carbon. There's that Canada flag, maple leaf that's been painted into the back of this car. Again, this is paint, this is not wrap. This is not somebody that tried to put something together, you know, with a wrap and gloss over it. This is done by McLaren in a specific way. See, as the rear, you can't even unsee this if you wanted to. Everything is just red, screams in your face. And when you see this in the sunlight, it's just unbelievable. Now that beautiful pinstripe that's painted in stays around all the way. And it really helps kind of bring this to light when you are looking at this car and you lose some of the curvature of it, you know, the shadows or whatever else. This striping really does pop this thing. Gives you the depth of how big the rear is, how amazing it is to mold carbon in such a fantastic way. Take a look at the interior. All right, let's hop in and take a look and see how this thing, limited edition, treats us on this 570S. You still have all the same luxuries of your usual 570S, but this not only was a super limited edition build, it also was done really tastefully. So you got a lot of upgrades from factory 570S or from baseline 570S. Full carbon fiber steering wheel, paddle shifters. You got the lifting, front end lifting system. You have all the carbon interior. You have the upgraded Bowers & Wilkins premium sound system, which is fantastic. Another very expensive addition. Alcantara and the leather seat combos with all red stitching. Everything is tied into the theme of this Canadian vehicle. The most main spectacle you're looking at in here is this gorgeous Alcantara red steering wheel with the little white notch in the center. It's just a beautiful, very Canadian homage style addition to this. Now, if you're buying this and you're second guessing that this is a limited edition vehicle, what you really got to notice in here is, of course, it says 1 of 5 builds, 570S, Canada Commission, and then the build date on it. So there is your certification factor right there, letting you know that this, you are driving or you are owning a very, very limited piece of McLaren. This model's equipped with the 3.8 liter twin turbo V8. This thing has just shy of 565 horsepower. It's a monster. And now to give you scope, if you were to order all this carbon from McLaren, you're looking at over $50,000 of upgrades. So this is a steal of a deal. It's a limited production, priced right around the $230,000 mark. If you're looking for something that's truly special, this is what you need to come find. Come see us, Faraz Auto Sales. Check us out. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you guys soon. All right, guys, now that we've ran through our list of what we think is probably the most diverse, most interesting, and most astoundingly wild cars that you could choose for the summer, we want to know which ones you guys would like the most. So please comment. Let us know what you like the best. If there's anything you want to happen next, we can bring some in. So anyway, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and come check us out, Faraz Auto Sales.